Right, let's do checkup on the divine feminine energy. Let's do divine feminine energy and see what's going on. Okay, so we'll get a card for their thoughts. Star card for their thoughts. What about their feelings at this time? The Hermit in reverse for their feelings. What about their intentions or actions? We have the Six of Pentacles. Okay. Let's go ahead and clarify that. Okay. So their thoughts. Star, Ten of Cups in reverse, Six of Cups. Well, obviously there's something they deeply wish for, hope for, dream of. But with the Ten of Cups in reverse tells me they don't really feel that it's probably possible. They don't feel like what they wish for will be their happily ever after. It kind of feels like, you know, when they really think about it, they see it kind of, you know, being that. And with the Hangman, it tells me though that they hope for a different perspective, like they hope for a different outcome maybe. But with the way that the energy kind of plays out here, it just seems like they don't feel that what they truly hope or wish for will be that eventuality. So when they think about this, whatever this is, that's how they're seeing it. Let's do their feelings with the Hermit in reverse. Their feelings, okay. Well, let's just say they're taking a break from their feelings. At this time, I think the Divine Feminine is choosing to like take a pause from thinking about or feeling their feelings somehow. I think they're structuring their emotional pattern at this time to resist anything that probably would cause them to be either overly emotional or just entertaining any kind of emotions that would probably distract maybe from certain things that they believe they need to do or they need to achieve or they need to think about. So right now it's like they have put it on the off switch, the feelings here. What about their intentions and actions with the Six of Pentacles? Okay. Intentions and actions. Wow. Okay. Well, the intention for now, at least, for this Divine Feminine is, you know what? I'll give if something's given to me, or I'll consider it if there's something to do. You know, like a choice will be made if there's something to consider. There's something about how not completely closing the door, but at the same time, there's an unwillingness to really be proactive or do anything beyond what they probably feel they should or need to do. So in some ways that is a Ten of Swords and an Ace of Pentacles, where it's like, well, for now, like that just has to stop, and that just has to, and if it's a missed opportunity, then it's a missed opportunity. And you know, in some ways they're not taking it all on themselves. They kind of have this viewpoint of, well, it's not just me. So it's like, if there's a giving, then I'll receive it and I'll give back, right? That's kind of their intention at this time. Like that's what they plan on doing when it comes to the connection with the Divine Masculine. Right now they just don't want to be really feeling anything, because I think going back to the thoughts, it's like, well, what's the point? You know, there's, you can want this, but there's nothing that will come of it, right? That's how they seem to be viewing it. I do want to pull more energy, of course, and just kind of tap into it a little more, right? Let's check out their thoughts. What else do we need to know about their thoughts? Ooh. Okay. Could be writing, keeping a diary, keeping notes. Could be journaling at this time. A lot of that going on maybe in their thoughts. Maybe that's where their mental energy is going towards. I guess they're trying to keep things light. They're trying not to overthink. They're trying not to do things or entertain ideas that would cause frustration, right? Yeah, they're avoiding thoughts of the Divine Masculine. That's what I would say, right? But they kind of want to divert the energy to maybe more creative or productive things in their life, which It's not a bad thing to do. What about their feelings? Okay, love affair with their feelings there. Interview. You know, okay, so just to set the stage, just for those that aren't completely aware of what, you know, this twin flame connection is, and you know what the main story is. It is a divine masculine in a commitment, having met their divine feminine while in a commitment, and having chosen, of course, to fulfill the commitment, which leaves this divine masculine and divine feminine in separation. Okay, now this, of course, is a divine feminine, the outside person to that commitment, obviously. And in their energies, love affair, interview, and ascension, because this divine feminine probably feels, I don't want to go back to that. I've ascended, like I've learned my lesson, I've gone to the next level. You know, they could have felt like they've awakened as well. And I think to them, you know, looking at that interview card, to them it's like, if they were to grapple with the idea of how to explain this connection to someone, it would all stem from the fact that it was a love affair, which, because they've ascended, because they've gone past things such as that, they kind of feel, I don't want to say they're ashamed of it. It's not that they're ashamed of it, but they do feel it is not a lesson to repeat. And how can a connection kind of push through the stigma, right, that the beginning has been for them? So I think that's why they don't really want to entertain the idea of this divine masculine, probably because it does stem from something that's, you know, it's nothing to be proud of, obviously, right? I feel like they feel that they should stick to what is traditionally morally accepted. Now, again, you know, just as like an addition, some things can start from wrong but turn out to be right. I think it's just this divine feminine in the current energy, when they think about this connection, that's how it is, that's what it is, right? And that's why there's a shutting off of the feelings, because what's the point of feeling anything for a situation where it was doomed from the start? Okay. What about intentions and actions? Okay, drama queen. Oh, yeah. They want to avoid drama. They don't want drama. They prefer the silence. And so in order for there not to be any drama, there is non-action, there is silence, because no drama can stem from no reaction. I guess they could be doing research, or they could be looking online for certain things. I don't feel necessarily it's related to this. Maybe they're doing something else. It feels like they want to learn more about something in their life, and maybe their intention right now is to focus on that. They could literally be looking for info or for records or something. But what it does say is that they're searching for something outside of this connection, right? So it's like, let's leave that alone and let's focus here. And I'll do something about this if something is being done about it. That's the energy that it's really showing up for the divine feminine. I'm going to get guidance for the divine feminine. Well, you know what? Before I get guidance, I think I'm going to just pull potential love, potential romantic love for the divine feminine. It says to trust. This situation is calling for you to have faith. Okay, retreat. It's time to disconnect from the world, right? Which is exactly what the divine feminine is doing. And heart-to-heart conversations. Honestly discuss your feelings with each other. With soulmate. Yes, this is your soulmate. So basically, I would say to trust. The situation is calling for you to have faith, just to trust the journey, trust the outcome. This is right. not necessarily that it's trying to turn off your emotions, but it is probably the best thing right now to kind of disconnect from this in some way. And I think this is the best thing for this divine feminine at this time. And heart-to-heart conversation, again, given a chance, there should be an honest conversation, but I think this is a divine feminine that will only entertain or allow that if there is some kind of reciprocating effort, right? But again, yes, this divine masculine is your soulmate, most likely. And that's just a fact, right? Now, for personal guidance for this divine feminine, expansiveness, deepening, and divine love. Okay, with signs. So expansiveness says eternity is far more creative than the rigid, constrained, and exhausted ego. Okay, deepening. Once you're on earth for enough lifetimes, your old soul will begin to long for non-grasping detachment and surrender. They bring the peace of God. It kind of feels like an assurance from the universe that, you know, it's fine to kind of detach at this time if this is actually what this divine feminine needs to do. Divine love. When you offer everything to the divine with the detachment, you begin a love affair with spirit. And bottom of the deck, instincts are the message from the inner divine. So that is what I have for the divine feminine, and hopefully if that resonates, this guidance helps.